The judge's gavel struck the wood 3 times, sharp, decisive. My hands cuffed, I stood there watching Marcus in the witness chair. My Marcus, he wasn't looking at me, his voice was steady. I saw him take the jewelry, the Cartier bracelet, the Tiffany necklace, all of it worth $47,000. The prosecutor smiled, my lawyer slumped. Sienna and Jake, my best friends since age 7, sat beside him, their faces expressionless. 10 years. The judge had sentenced him to exactly 10 years in prison. Those moments won't leave my mind. Faye thought she knew them just because she loved them. If I could go back now and say something, I would tell Faye that every betrayal begins with love, and now I'm leaving the courtyard and going to take revenge with everything I have. 10 years ago. When I met Marcus, I was 22. She wrote, Sienna dragged me to the neighborhood party. She always dragged me places. Come on, Faye, she said, you can't hide in your apartment forever. I wasn't hiding. I was working double shifts at a restaurant to save money for college, and it was exhausting, but Sienna didn't care. She grabbed my arm and pulled me into the crowd. That's when I saw him. Marcus, tall, dark hair, leaning against the fence, talking to Jake. Jake was Sienna's childhood friend, loud and funny, always cracking jokes, but Marcus was different, quiet, watching everything. He caught my gaze, he smiled. Who is he? I asked Sienna. She grinned. Marcus, he moved here last month. He works at the antique shop on 5th Avenue. He walked over to me, he introduced himself. His handshake was firm, warm. You're Faye, he said. It wasn't a question, it was a statement, as if Jake had told him about me. We talked for hours about nothing, about everything. The sun went down, the streetlights came on. Sienna and Jake disappeared somewhere. Marcus asked if I wanted coffee. I said yes. We went to the restaurant where I worked that night. When we walked in, my coworker raised his eyebrows. Marcus ordered black coffee. I got a latte. We sat at a table in the back. He told me about his shop. Old furniture, vintage jewelry, real estate sales. His eyes sparkled as he talked. I liked that. I liked him. He walked me home. He stopped at my door. Can I see you again? He asked. Yes, I said without hesitation. He kissed me, soft, sweet, my first real kiss. I felt it in my chest, warm, safe. The next 6 months flew by one after another. Marcus and I were inseparable. He would pick me up after my shift, we would go to the lake, we would sit on the hood of his car, he would point out the constellations to me, I would make up stories about them, he would laugh at all my jokes, even the bad ones. Deep down, I still miss those beautiful days. Sienna would say, he suits you so well. We'd sit in her little kitchen, drink cheap wine, talk about everything, men, dreams, the future. She was dating Jake back then. The 4 of us were a unit, movie nights, bowling, barbecues. Marcus fit into my life as if he'd always been there. Jake was a joker, he always lightened the mood. Marcus, buddy, when are you going to make Faye a proper woman? He'd tease. Marcus would just smile, he'd squeeze my hand. 3 months later, Marcus asked me to move in with him. He had a small apartment above his antique shop, 2 rooms, old parquet floors, big windows. It's not much, he said, but it's ours. That weekend, I packed my things. Sienna helped, she cried a little. You're growing up, she said, hugging me tightly, but don't forget me. Never, I promised. Life was good, simple. I would wake up next to Marcus. He would make coffee, I would burn the toast, we would laugh about it. I got promoted at the restaurant, became the daytime manager, my salary increased. Marcus's shop was doing well, he had regular customers, wealthy customers who trusted him. He would come home with stories. Today a woman, he would say, wanted me to appraise her grandmother's ring. Platinum, Art Deco, worth at least $15,000. I didn't care about the jewelry. What mattered to me was the glow on his face, the way he held my hand while watching TV, the way he said, I love you, every night before bed. Sienna and Jake got engaged. There was a small ceremony at City Hall. I was her maid of honor. Marcus was Jake's best man. We celebrated at a bar. We drank. We danced. Sienna pulled me aside. You and Marcus are next, she whispered. I can feel it. I wanted it. I really wanted it. But something changed, a subtle change, so subtle I almost didn't notice it. Marcus started working late. I have a big real estate sale, he would say. I have to catalog everything. I believed him, why wouldn't I? Jake and Sienna started coming over more often. They would drop by the apartment. Is Marcus busy again? Jake would ask. I would nod. Sienna would make tea. We would talk. He seemed distracted. He was checking his phone. Is everything okay? I asked once. Yes, he replied. Quickly, just work stuff. I didn't press further. Then the night that changed everything came. Marcus came home excited. He was really excited. "Faye," he said, holding my hands, "I found a job, a big job, a special client. He needs help appraising his collection. Jewelry, art, furniture. It could make me $50,000, maybe more." 50,000, I looked at him. That's incredible. "There's a problem," he said. "I need help. The client is out of town. He gave me the keys to the house. I need someone to keep track of the inventory, someone to monitor the records while I'm working." "All right," I said. "When?" "Friday night," he kissed my forehead. "You're the only person I trust, Faye." I felt warm, nated, important. Friday came. Marcus was tense. He paced around the room. He handed me a key. "Just in case," he said, "if I forget something, you can let yourself in." "Where's the house?" I asked. He gave me the address, up in the city center, a luxury neighborhood. "The client is in Europe," he said. "Won't be back for weeks. Everything's legal. The contract's signed." I didn't question it. Why would I? Marcus left at 8. I stayed home, watched TV, ate the leftover pizza. My phone rang. "Sienna, want to hang out? Jake's working late." I texted, "Sure, come over." She came with wine. We sat on the couch. We talked. She looked tense. "Are you okay?" I asked. "I'm just tired," she said. "Work has been really busy." We drank, we laughed. She left around 11. I went to bed. At 2 a.m., someone pounded on the door. I woke up, my heart was racing. I stumbled to the door, I opened it. "Police, 3 officers, guns, badges." "Faye Lawson," one of them asked. "Yes," I whispered. "You're under arrest." They searched the apartment, they rummaged through drawers and cabinets. My hands were shaking. "What's going on?" I kept asking. No one answered. A police officer came out of the bedroom. He was holding a velvet bag. He opened the bag. Jewels spilled out. Diamonds, rubies, gold. "What's that?" My voice cracked. "You tell me," he said. I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I've never seen them. They put handcuffs on me. They read me my rights. My ears were ringing. I couldn't hear the words. "Where's Marcus?" I asked. "He'll explain. He's working tonight. He'll tell you." "Marcus Chen," the officer asked. "He called us." The holding cell reeked of bleach and sweat. I sat on the metal bench. I stared at the wall. My mind couldn't comprehend it. Had Marcus called the police on me? A lawyer came, a public defender. He was young. His eyes were tired. "Ms. Lawson," he said, "the evidence is very strong. Jewels stolen from the Berkshire mansion. They were found in your apartment. Your fingerprints were on the dresser where they were hidden." "I didn't steal anything," I said. My voice sounded very distant. "Marcus gave me a key," he said. "Marcus Chen testified," the lawyer cut me off. "He says you planned the theft, that you pressured him to help, that you used his business connections to choose the victims." The room began to sway. "That's a lie. There are witnesses, your friends, Sienna Martinez, Jake Foster, they're confirming his story." "Sienna, Jake, my best friends." "No, this couldn't be true. It couldn't be." The trial was a blur. I said I was innocent. Bail was set at $100,000. I didn't have that kind of money. I had nothing. My family was dead. I had no siblings. I had no savings. I went back to my cell. Days passed, weeks. My lawyer visited twice. "They're offering a deal," he said. "If you plead guilty, 7 years. Otherwise, you could get 15 years at trial." "I didn't do it," I said. "I won't lie." My lawyer sighed. "Then we'll go to trial." The trial was worse than I had imagined. The prosecutor portrayed me as a manipulative criminal, a restaurant waiter looking for easy money, someone who seduced Marcus Chen, used his connections, planned the robbery. The jury watched me like I was a monster. Marcus took the stand. He was wearing a suit. He looked respectable. He looked sad. "I loved him," he said, his voice trembling. "I thought he loved me too, but he changed. He became obsessed with money. He pressured me to help him. I said no. He threatened to leave me. I was scared, so I helped him get into the house. I didn't know he was really going to steal. When I found out, I had to call the police. It was the right thing to do." He was a good man, a very good man. The jury nodded. They believed him. My lawyer asked, "If Mrs. Lawson planned this, why were you working late that night? Where were you?" Marcus didn't hesitate. "At my shop, I was doing inventory. I have the invoices. There are time-stamped security camera recordings." That was true. He had everything. Sienna then testified, tears were streaming down her face. Faye was my best friend, she whispered, but she was acting strangely, she was mysterious. Once she asked me about the value of my engagement ring, I didn't think much of it at the time, but now. Lies, all lies. Jake spoke briefly and concisely, stoically. I saw them arguing. Faye was yelling about money. Marcus was trying to calm her down. I didn't want to get involved. I wanted to scream, I wanted to overturn the table, I wanted to stop them, but I just sat there, frozen. The defense had nothing, no witnesses, no evidence, it was just my word against theirs. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. When they came back, I knew guilty on all counts: theft, conspiracy, fraud. 10 years, the judge's face was like stone. Ms. Lawson, you abused trust, you used a relationship, this court has no sympathy for you. I didn't cry, I couldn't cry, my body had shut down, they took me away, I looked back once, Marcus was gone. Sienna wiped her eyes, Jake stared at his hands. They did this together, they planned it, every detail, and I fell for it. Iron City Women's Prison, gray walls, gray floors, everything gray. I shared a cell with a woman named Rita. She was 50 years old, she was in for drug trafficking, she didn't talk much, I liked that. No one visited, not even once. I checked the visitor log every week. Nothing. Sienna didn't write, Jake didn't call, Marcus was like a ghost. I worked in the laundry room, 8 hours a day, I folded sheets, we ironed uniforms, my hands cracked and bled, I stopped caring. At night I'd lie in my bunk and stare at the ceiling. I'd think about everything over and over. The trial, the lies, Marcus's empty eyes. How could I not have noticed? Were there signs? Did I ignore them? No, they were good, too good, they made me trust them, they made me love them, then they used that, they used me. 3 months later, Rita was transferred to another place. A new cellmate arrived, an old woman in her mid-60s. Gray hair pulled back, sharp eyes, calm, she introduced herself. Vera, she said, she extended her hand. I shook her hand, Faye. She sat on her bunk, she folded her hands. You look troubled, she said, directly, no sympathy, just the truth. I laughed bitterly, is it that obvious? I've been here for 9 years, Vera said. I recognize that look, let me guess, someone you trust. I nodded. Your boyfriend, your friend, your family. All 3, I said. Vera shook her head slowly. That's the worst. She paused for a moment. Are you thinking of doing something about it? I looked at her, I really looked at her. Her eyes weren't hard, they were understanding, as if she'd been through this before. What can I do? I asked. I'm here, they're out there. Vera smiled, a small, cold smile. 10 years is a long time, you'll be surprised at what you can plan in 10 years. That's when it began. Vera became my support. At first we didn't talk much, she read, I watched, but slowly she started making comments, she asked questions. Have you ever thought about who benefits from this? She asked once. What? From your imprisonment, who gained what? I hadn't thought about it. Marcus, I suppose, he kept his reputation, his shop. What about the jewels? Vera asked. I froze. The jewels, they were never found. The prosecution said I hid them, sold them, but I didn't, which meant. They're still with him, I whispered. Vera shook her head. He probably sold them quietly. You said 50,000, right? It could be more, they split it 3 ways. Marcus, Sienna, Jake, they split the money among themselves, they accused me, and they walked away clean. Anger was boiling inside me, hot, sharp, I clenched my fists. Vera watched me. There it is, she said. Hold on to it, you'll need it. 4th year, a guard brought mail during dinner, a rare occurrence. I never received mail. He handed me an envelope. I examined it, there was no sender's address. I opened it. Inside was a newspaper clipping, the society page, a wedding announcement. Marcus Chen is marrying Sienna Martinez. In the photo, they were both smiling. Marcus was wearing a tuxedo, Sienna was wearing a white dress. Jake was standing next to them, best man. My hands weren't shaking, they were steady. I read every word. The couple had met through mutual friends and bonded over their love of art and antiques. They were planning to spend their honeymoon in Italy. Italy with my money, with the money they stole. I lifted my head. Vera was watching me from the other end of the cafeteria. She nodded once. I folded the scrap, I put it in my pocket, I kept eating. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the top bunk. Sienna had married Marcus, my best friend and boyfriend, together. Had they planned this from the start? Was their friendship a trap from the beginning? How long had they been together behind my back? Questions swirled in my head, but one thing was clear: they thought they had won. They thought I was broken, forgotten. They were wrong. 7th year, Vera got sick, pneumonia. They took her to the infirmary. I visited her as often as they let me. She looked so small in the hospital bed. She had lost weight. She was nothing like the sharp woman I knew. "Faye," she whispered, "come here." I sat beside her. She took my hand, a weak grip. "You'll be discharged soon," she said. 3 years left. Start making plans now. "I'm starting," I said. She smiled. "Good, but listen. Revenge is a knife. Both edges are sharp. You'll cut them, but you'll pay the price. Pieces of yourself. Make sure you're ready to pay." I nodded. "I'm ready." Vera closed her eyes. "There's something I've never told you about my own story." "What?" She hesitated. "The person who betrayed me, I destroyed them completely, but in doing so I lost someone I loved. Collateral damage. I had to make a choice. Revenge or mercy. I chose revenge. I don't regret it, but I live with it every day." "Who did you lose?" I asked. Vera opened her eyes. She looked at me. "My daughter." She couldn't forgive what I had become. My chest tightened. "Vera, don't pity me," she said. "I'm telling you this so you know. Revenge changes you. It hardens you. The people you love may no longer recognize you. Be sure it's worth it." I thought about it. Who did I have left to lose? No one. I was alone. Revenge was the only thing I had. "It's worth it," I said. Vera squeezed my hand. "Then make them all suffer, all of them." But let me tell you Vera's story. It was our 5th year in prison. One afternoon we were sitting in the courtyard. The sun was shining on our faces. She was telling me about revenge, how to plan it. "The key is trust," Vera said. "If you just attack, it won't work. They'll notice you. Get close first, make them need you, make them want you, then strike." "How did you do it?" I asked. She smiled, that cold smile. "My business partner Richard and my husband Tom thought they were smart. They emptied our accounts. They forged documents. They tried to make it look like I embezzled money. I went to prison. They took the company. They took everything." "So what did you do?" "I got out after 8 years. I changed my appearance. New name, new identity. I became a consultant. I approached Richard's company. I offered my expertise. He hired me. He didn't recognize me." "What happened next?" Vera's eyes hardened. "I learned everything, his weaknesses, his secrets, his illegal activities. I gathered evidence, slowly. Then I went to the tax office and the Securities Commission. I sent them everything. Richard went to prison, 20 years. The company went bankrupt. Tom lost everything. He started drinking. He died within 2 years." I looked at her. "You ruined them." "Yes," he said simply. "They ruined me first. I just returned the favor." "Do you regret it?" I asked. He paused. He looked away. "My daughter, she found out what I did. She called me a monster. She said I was worse than them. She hasn't spoken to me in 10 years. My throat tightened. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," Vera said. "I made my choice. Revenge over reconciliation. I'd do it again. But know this, Faye, revenge changes you. The person you used to be, she dies. Someone tougher takes her place. Can you live with that?" I thought of Marcus, Sienna, Jake, their betrayal, the cage they put me in. "Yes," I said, "I can." Fast forward to today. Months turned into years. Vera taught me some things, not directly, just observations, comments. "Those who betray always have weaknesses," she would say. "Fear, greed, guilt. You find the crack, you step on it." I started paying attention. I started reading psychology books from the prison library, manipulation, persuasion, body language. I had time. Vera told stories, vague stories about her past. "Once I trusted someone," she said one night. "It cost me everything, my job, my family, 15 years ago." "What did you do?" I asked. She smiled, that cold smile. "I took my revenge, finally." "How?" "With patience, with planning, with timing." She looked at me. "Revenge isn't about anger, it's about precision." Vera died 2 weeks later, heart failure. I didn't cry at her funeral, I just stood there, quietly. The director said a few words, general things. They didn't know her, not like I did. I returned to my cell. I found a letter on my bunk. It was Vera's handwriting. Vay. If you're reading this, I'm gone. Good, I was tired anyway, but I'm leaving you something. A name, a contact, someone who can help you when you get out, a new identity, a new life, whatever you need. Her name is Margaret. She owes me. Tell her Vera sent you, she'll understand. One more thing, who betrayed me, I'll tell you now. My business partner and my husband, both of them together, sound familiar. I planned for 5 years. I executed it for 5 years. They lost everything. Their jobs, their money, their freedom. My partner died in prison. My husband drank himself to death. I won, but Vera died with them. The woman I used to be, she's gone. You'll lose Faye too, the trusting girl, the loving girl, she's all her. Edie disappearing, let her go, become sharper, colder, stronger. Burn them. Away. At the bottom was a phone number and an address. I memorized both. I burned the letter. I flushed the ashes down the toilet. The 10th year, release day, I left Iron City at dawn, gray sky, cold air. I was wearing the clothes I had on when I was arrested. They didn't fit me anymore. I had lost weight. I had built muscle. My face had changed. It had hardened. A taxi was waiting. I gave the driver Margaret's address. She lived in a brownstone on the other side of town. I knocked on the door. A woman opened it. She was in her 50s, red hair. She was wearing a stylish suit. Margaret, I asked. She looked me up and down. Vera's daughter. I nodded. She stepped aside. Come in. Her office was elegant, expensive. She poured 2 glasses of whiskey. She handed me one. Vera said you'd come eventually, Margaret said. She told me your story, boyfriend, best friend, conspiracy, 10 years. She sipped her drink. What a grudge. Can you help me? I asked. Margaret smiled. A new identity, a new past, becoming untraceable. That's my specialty. It'll cost you dearly. I don't have any money, I said. Vera paid for it long ago, Margaret said. Years ago, she called it an investment. She pulled out a file. For the past 3 years, I've been building your new life. All I needed was your face. She opened the folder. Inside were documents: passport, driver's license, birth certificate, social security card. A new name, Claire Ashford. Who is she? I asked. You, Margaret said, art consultant, Ivy League education, impeccable references, wealthy family. You died in a car accident 5 years ago. I brought you back. I looked at the documents. Claire Ashford. I could be anyone. I could go anywhere. There's more, Margaret said. She pulled out another file. It was thicker. I did some research. Your friends are Marcus and Sienna Chen. They're doing well, very well. Marcus expanded his shop. He now has 3 branches. Sienna runs an interior design firm. They live in a penthouse in the city center. It's worth $2.3 million. My jaw dropped. Margaret continued. Jake Foster, real estate agent, successful, married, 2 kids, has a big house in the suburbs. She swiped through photos on the table. Marcus and Sienna at a gala, Jake with his family in the park. They're smiling, they're happy, they're successful. They forgot you, Margaret said quietly. They moved on with their lives. They built their lives on your pain. I took Claire's passport. I ran my finger over her name. Faye Lawson died in prison. Claire Ashford was born. What do you want to do? Margaret asked. I looked at her. My voice was calm, cold. I want to destroy them, all of them. I want them to lose everything, their money, their freedom, their sanity. I want them to feel what I feel, the loneliness, the betrayal, the breaking. Margaret's smile widened. Then let's begin. But that night, as I put Claire Ashford's documents in my bag and left her office, I thought about Vera's warning. Revenge is a knife. Both edges are sharp. I didn't care. I'd been bleeding for 10 years. Now it was their turn. I stopped on the street opposite Marcus's gallery. Chen and Associates, fine antiques, gold letters, spotless windows, success. My reflection stared back at me. Short blonde hair, custom-tailored suit, pearl earrings. Claire Ashford, not Faye Lawson. She would never be Faye again. 10 years, they took 10 years of my life. Sienna and Jake took 10 years of my life. Now I would take everything from them. I crossed the street. I pushed the door. A bell rang. The gallery smelled of leather and wood polish. Expensive, tasteful. The walls were lined with display cases, jewelry, watches, vintage brooches. My stomach churned. How much of this had been bought with stolen money, my money? A woman approached, young, beautiful. Welcome to Chen and Associates. How can I help you? I'm looking for Marcus Chen, I said. My voice was calm like Claire's, confident, wealthy. He's with a client. May I take your name? Claire Ashford. I'm interested in real estate valuation. I heard he's the best. She smiled. He is. Let me check if he's available. He went into the back office. I wandered around. I looked at the display cases. Art Deco rings, emeralds, sapphires. My hands were shaking. I forced them to stay still. Ms. Ashford. I turned. Marcus was standing there. He had aged, silver hair at his temples, still handsome, still the face I loved, the face that destroyed me. He didn't recognize me. He didn't hesitate at all. Marcus Chen, he extended his hand. I shook it firmly, professionally. The palm of his hand was warm. I remembered that warmth, how it had comforted me. Now it made me sick. Claire, I said. I smiled. Thank you for accepting me. Of course, what can I do for you? I pointed to the screens. I'm downsizing, family heirlooms, jewelry, artwork, furniture. I want everything appraised correctly. And discreetly. Her eyes lit up, the same look, when she talked about money, about opportunities. Property matters are my specialty, he said. How large a collection are we talking about? Significant. My late aunt, she collected for 40 years. I estimate the collection is worth $500,000, probably more. He tried to hide his excitement. He couldn't. That's a significant amount. I'd like to help. When can I see the pieces? Soon, I said. We're still cataloging, but I wanted to meet you first, to understand your expertise. We talked for 20 minutes. His work, his reputation, his approach. He was smooth, charming, the same Marcus who had captivated me at 22, but now I could see inside him, the calculations behind his smile, the greed in his eyes. Are you married? I asked, casually, as if we were chatting. Yes, he said. He smiled. For 3 years, my wife is an interior designer. Sienna, maybe you've heard of her, Martinez Designs. I pretended to think, maybe, is she good? The best, he said. There was pride in his voice, real pride. He loved her, or thought he did. Perfect. This would make destroying them even sweeter. I'll be in touch, I said. I handed him my card. Margaret had made it, embossed, expensive, when I'm ready. I'll be waiting impatiently, Marcus said. I walked out. I didn't look back. I went to my car. I sat in the driver's seat. My hands finally started to shake. I gripped the steering wheel. I took a breath. He didn't recognize me. 10 years had completely erased Faye. Perfect. Jake's office was in a shopping mall, a bright sign, a family-friendly place. His face was smiling on the billboard outside. Your home, your dream, my priority. I wanted to vomit. Inside, the office was bustling. Real estate agents at desks, phones ringing. The receptionist greeted me. Welcome to Foster Real Estate. Do you have an appointment? No, I said, but I want to buy cash. It's important. Is Jake Foster available? Cash, the magic word. The receptionist perked up. Let me check. 2 minutes later, Jake appeared. The same Jake, wider, softer, his hair thinner, but the same smile, the same easy charm. Claire Ashford, he asked. I nodded, shook his hand, without hesitation. Jake Foster, nice to meet you. I heard you're looking to buy. I'm moving, I said, looking for an impressive place, at least 4 bedrooms, a good neighborhood, flexible budget. His eyes lit up. I have a few properties that might interest you. Let's sit down. His office was modest. There were family photos on the desk. Jake was with a blonde woman. From my research, I learned her name was Emma. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, maybe 6 and 8 years old. They looked happy. Collateral damage, Vera's warning whispered. I ignored it. We looked over the listings. She spoke. I listened. I played my part. Interested buyer, wealthy, eager. This, I said, pointing to a mansion. 2 million, show me around. Jake blinked. This is amazing. When would you like to see it? Tomorrow. Perfect, he said with a broad smile. You know, I have a good feeling about this, Claire. I think we'll work well together. I hope so, I said. I smiled at him, fake, empty. Before leaving, I paused. Actually, Jake, I'm also looking into investment opportunities, real estate development, high-yield projects. Do you know anyone interested in partnering? The expression on his face changed. Curious, Grady, maybe, what kind of return are we talking about? 20% annually, at least, probably more. He whistled. That's an aggressive number. High risk, high reward, I said, but I only work with people I trust, honest people. Honesty from Jake, the man who set me up. The irony left a bitter taste. Let me think about it, he said. I might know some people who'd be interested. Great, I said, we'll talk tomorrow. I left, I got into my car, I sat there. Images of Jake's family photos flashed through my mind. The children, innocent, they hadn't done anything. But their father had. I started the engine, I drove away. That night I looked into Sienna. Her company, Martinez Designs, had a sleek website, portfolio, client references, awards. She had built something real, something impressive even. This made me even angrier. He had built this empire with stolen money, with my pain. The next morning I called his office. A professional voice answered. Martinez Designs, how can I help you? I'd like to schedule a consultation, I said. I'm renovating a penthouse. I need a designer, an extraordinary one. Ms. Martinez personally oversees all high-end projects. May I take your name? Claire Ashford. And the property's location. I gave the address. Margaret had rented it for me, a real penthouse, expensive, empty. Ms. Martinez has an opening on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Is that convenient? Perfect, I said. Thursday arrived. I dressed carefully, black dress, simple jewelry, success. All art consultant Claire Ashford. Martinez Designs was in a penthouse in the city center. Modern, glass walls, minimalist furniture. The receptionist greeted me. She offered me coffee. I declined. Then Sienna walked in. My heart stopped. My lungs forgot how to work. She looked the same, yes, older, elegant, designer clothes, perfectly styled hair, but the same face, the face that shed fake tears at my trial, the lying face. Claire, she smiled warmly, friendlily. She extended her hand. I shook her hand. Her skin was soft, manicured. She wore perfume. Light, floral, the same perfume she wore 10 years ago, the night before my arrest, when she came to my apartment, pretending to comfort me. My stomach churned. I smiled. Sienna, thank you for meeting me. Of course, let's go to my office. I followed her. Her office overlooked the city, floor-to-ceiling windows, a magnificent view, awards on the shelves, photos, her and Marcus at events, at galas, on vacation, smiling, always smiling. All right, said Sienna, sitting across from me, tell me about your project. I described the penthouse, my vision, modern yet warm, elegant. She listened, took notes, asked questions, professional, meticulous. It looks great, she said. I'd like to work with you. My initial design fee is $15,000. That includes consulting, mood boards, and sourcing. We're in agreement, I said without hesitation. He blinked. Great, that was easy. I know what I want, I said, and I'm willing to pay for quality. He smiled, leaned back, relaxed. I like you, Claire, you're right, you're confident, you remind me of someone I used to know. My heart raced, really. An old friend, Sienna said, sadly. We were close, like sisters, but she made some bad choices. She hurt a lot of people. I haven't seen her in years. Faye, she was talking about Faye, she was talking about me. I kept my face expressionless. That's so sad, did you try to help her? Sienna sighed. I tried, but she wouldn't listen. She started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Eventually, she ended up in jail. Lies smooth, practical, she now believed her own story. Prison, I said. I acted surprised. What did she do? Theft, manipulation. He betrayed everyone who loved him. Sienna's voice dropped, sad. It still hurts, you know, losing someone like that, someone you trusted. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table. I wanted to wrap my hands around his throat, but I didn't. I nodded, showing I understood. That must have been so hard. It was, she said, but life goes on. I have my husband, I have my job, I'm happy now. Happy, she was happy, while I was rotting away for 10 years. It didn't last long. I'm sorry you had to go through that, I said, softly, gently, Claire's voice, not Faye's. Thank you, said Sienna. She smiled. Anyway, let's focus on your beautiful penthouse. I already have some ideas. We talked for an hour, designs, materials, timelines. She was good, talented, one more reason not to like her. Before leaving, I said this, casually, I'm also working on a business venture, an investment opportunity, high returns. Would you and your spouse like to expand your portfolio? His eyes lit up. Always, what kind of investment? Real estate development, artwork acquisition, diversified, highly profitable. I'm forming a small group of investors, private. That sounds interesting, Sienna said. Marcus and I are always on the lookout for opportunities. Can you send me the details? Of course, I said. I'll send it via email. We shook hands again. I left. I got into my car. I gripped the steering wheel. My hands were shaking. My chest was rising and falling. Seeing her, hearing her voice, the lies about Faye, the lies about me. I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror. Blonde hair, makeup, Claire. Faye was gone. She must have left. The following week, I set the trap. Margaret helped. She prepared the documents. A fake company, fake financial statements, realistic enough to withstand scrutiny, too good to be true, perfect bait for greedy people. I sent emails to all three of them, Marcus, Sienna, Jake. I attached the prospectus, Ashford Ventures LLC, estimated return 25% annually, minimum investment $50,000. They took the bait, all of them. Jake was the first to respond, it looks great, let's meet. Marcus was the second to respond. Sienna showed me her proposal, I'm very interested, can we talk? Sienna was the third to respond, I'm thrilled, when can we move forward? I set up individual meetings, I was careful, I made each one feel special, I made them feel chosen. Jake's meeting. Coffee shop, a neutral place. Jake arrived enthusiastically, he brought his wife Emma. Emma was beautiful, she had kind eyes, she shook my hand warmly. Emma wanted to meet you, Jake said, we make important decisions together. Smart, I hadn't considered her, but I adapted. I appreciate that, I said. I smiled at Emma. Partnership requires truths. We discussed the investment. I showed him the projections, the charts, the references, fake but convincing. Jake was convinced. Emma had questions, good questions. I answered them. Smoothly, I was prepared. We're in, Jake said, 50,000. Emma hesitated. That's too much, Jake. It's an opportunity, Em, he said. He squeezed my hand. Trust me. He looked at me. I met his gaze. Determined, trustworthy Claire. All right, Emma said, but we'll need to draw up a contract. Of course, I said. My lawyer will handle everything. We shook hands. Emma smiled. Thank you, Claire. This could change our lives. It would change it, but not in the way she imagined. Marcus and Sienna's meeting. Dinner, a fancy restaurant. Marcus was wearing a suit. Sienna was wearing a cocktail dress. They looked like the perfect couple, a power couple. I wanted to pour my wine on their faces. Instead, I smiled. I ordered expensive wine. We talked about business. This venture, Marcus said, is very ambitious, but the returns look almost too good to be true. High risk, I said, but I've done my research. The properties are undervalued. The art market is booming. Timing is everything. Sienna leaned forward. How many investors are you taking on? 5, I said. 3 are confirmed. 2 spots left. I'm selective. We want to join too, Sienna said. She looked at Marcus. He nodded. How much? I asked. 100,000, Marcus said, total. I pretended to think. That's a significant amount. We'll need proof of funds and a signed agreement. All right, Marcus said. We raised our glasses. They clinked. They smiled. I smiled too. Under the table, I clenched my fists so tightly my nails drew blood. Over the next 2 weeks, I collected their money. Jake transferred 50,000. Marcus and Sienna sent 100,000, all to Ashford Ventures. Once transferred, the trail was untraceable. But I didn't transfer mine, not yet. This was just the beginning. I needed more. I needed them to be helpless, to break, to disappear. Phase 2, make them need me. I called Jake. The real estate deal fell through. The market changed. I'm redistributing the funds, but I have another opportunity, a bigger one, interested. How big? Jake asked. He was cautious now. Double your investment, same timeline, but I need 50,000 more. Silence, then I'll have to dip into my savings. It's your decision, I said matter-of-factly, but this opportunity won't last long. 2 days later, he transferred the money, another $50,000 from Jake, total $100,000. Emma didn't know about the second investment. Jake kept it a secret. He lied to her. Good, the cracks were starting to show. Marcus and Sienna were easier. I suggested buying a piece of art, an original Monet sketch, private sale, 300,000, resale value $500,000, will sell it in 6 months. They mortgaged their house, 200,000. They added it to their first 100,000. 300,000 from Marcus and Sienna. I had 450,000 from their money. The second phase was complete. Now the third phase, disappearing. But first I needed to see them one more time, face to face, before erasing Claire Ashford and becoming someone else. I arranged a celebratory dinner, the 5 of us, Jake and Emma, Marcus and Sienna, and me. A private restaurant, a private room, I paid. It was expensive. They were dressed up, excited, talking about prospects, dreams. Jake wanted to expand his business, Marcus wanted a second gallery, Sienna talked about Europe, a shopping trip. Emma was quiet, she was watching, she was looking at Jake, there was something in her eyes, doubt, suspicion. I raised my glass, to partnerships, to success, to trust. We drank, they laughed, Marcus told a story about a client. Sienna added details, they finished each other's sentences, a perfect couple. I watched them, I memorized their faces, their smiles, their happiness. Soon they would all be gone. That night I went home. My apartment, Claire's apartment, was a sterile place. Temporary, no photos, no memories, nothing real. I opened a drawer, I took out an old shoebox. Inside were Faye's things, photos, letters, a pressed flower from my first date with Marcus. I looked at a photo, I was 22, I was smiling, my arms were around Sienna's shoulders, Marcus was kissing my cheek, Jake was behind us, scowling. We looked happy, we were happy, or so I thought. Was it all a lie, even before the betrayal, or was there a moment when it was real? I didn't know anymore. I received Marcus and Sienna's wedding invitation, the invitation they sent to prison, their smiling faces. Can I do this? I whispered to the empty room. Can I really do this? The faces in the photo were looking at me. Young Faye, naive, trusting, broken. I struck a match, I held it to the invitation. The paper curled, darkened, burned. I watched it turn to ash. What? Yes, I said, my voice was cold, Claire's voice. I can do it. I burned the rest, the photos, the flower, the letters, everything. Faye Lawson died in that fire. Only Claire remained, and Claire had work to do. Tomorrow I would empty the accounts, disappear, leave them nothing but debt and questions. Then the real game would begin. The transfers took 11 minutes. From Ashford Ventures to the Cayman account, from the Caymans to Switzerland, from Switzerland to cryptocurrency, $450,000, untraceable, gone. I sat in the airport lounge, I watched the numbers disappear, my laptop screen was glowing, Marcus's money, Sienna's money, Jake's money. It's not about the money, it's about justice. I shut down the laptop, I boarded my flight, I left Claire Ashford behind forever. By the time they realized it, I would be a completely different person. 3 weeks later, Sunday morning, Jake's phone rang. He was making pancakes. Emma was sitting at the table, the kids were eating cornflakes, a normal weekend, safe routine. The caller ID showed a bank number, his stomach knotted. Hello. Mr. Foster, this is First National calling, we need to discuss your account. Jake's hand tightened around the spatula. What's wrong? Unusual activity, large transfers, flagged for fraud investigation, can you come in tomorrow? The kitchen spun around him. How big? $100,000 to Ashford Ventures LLC. Emma looked up. Jake, what's going on? He forced a smile. Nothing work-related. To the phone, I approved these transfers. Both transfers, the banker asked. Both of them. Yes, 50,000 in March, 50,000 in April, were you aware? Jake hung up the phone, his hands were shaking, the spatula fell into the sink. Jake, Emma stood up, what's going on? Nothing, he said too quickly, too loudly, I need to make a call. He took his phone, he called Claire Ashford, it went straight to voicemail. He tried again. The connection was lost. He tried Marcus, the phone rang. Jake, Marcus's voice was tense, stressed. Tell me you've heard from Claire. Silence, then no, did you hear anything? She's gone, her phone is off, my bank just called. Mine too, said Marcus. This morning, Sienna is crying. We invested $300,000, Jake, our house. We mortgaged our damn house. Jake's legs gave out, he collapsed onto the kitchen chair. Emma looked at him, there was fear in her eyes. What have we done? Jake whispered. We trusted the wrong person, said Marcus. Again. The line went dead. Emma's voice was cold, silent. Jake, what did you do? She couldn't look at him, she couldn't speak. Emma picked up her phone, she scrolled through her emails. She found Ashford Ventures prospectus. She found the wire transfer approvals. $100,000, her voice rose. Did you invest our savings without telling me? Emma, get out. Emma, please. Get out. The children started crying. Jake stood up. He took his keys. He left. He got into his car, his hands on the steering wheel, breathless. His phone rang. A message came from an unknown number. Karma is patient, but it always takes its revenge. F. Lev. Faye. No, impossible. Faye was in prison, wasn't she? Her hands started shaking. She couldn't stop. I changed everything. I dyed my hair black. I wore brown contact lenses, a different style. Sharp, urban, not Claire's elegance, not Faye's softness. Maya Rodriguez, freelance journalist. Margaret created this identity, the past, the social media history, 10 years of fake posts, photos, friends, life. I rented an apartment on the other side of the city, a good neighborhood, quiet, close enough to watch them, far enough to hide. I set up a surveillance system, not physical, digital, Marcus's social media. Sienna's, Jake's, Emma's, I watched their lives unfold in real time. Jake's Instagram went dark, no new posts. Emma's status changed to complicated. Marcus posted less. When he did, it seemed forced, smiles that didn't reach his eyes. Had a great weekend with my wife, he wrote, brunch photos. Sienna looked tired, empty. The business account stopped updating, no new projects, no client features. They were drowning, quietly, helplessly. Good. But it wasn't enough, not yet. I wanted them to know, I wanted them to understand, I wanted them to suffer consciously. Marcus's gallery seemed smaller than I remembered, darker, fewer customers. I walked in, now Maya, black leather jacket, jeans, messenger bag, a journalist researching local businesses. The same young assistant greeted me, welcome to Chen and Associates. I'm writing an article about antique dealers, I said. Is Mr. Chen available for an interview? He hesitated. He's not meeting with anyone right now, but I can ask. He disappeared. I looked around, empty display cases, gaps where jewelry used to be. He's selling his stock to pay off his debts, I thought. Pay. Perfect. Marcus appeared. He looked terrible. He had lost weight. His skin was pale. There were bags under his eyes. He had aged 5 years in 3 weeks. Maya Rodriguez, I said. I extended my hand. Thank you for seeing me. He shook my hand. His grip was weak. I only have a few minutes. That's enough for me. We sat in his office. I took out my notebook, my pen. I played my part. How long have you been doing this job? 12 years, he said, in a monotonous voice, in a tired voice. Are you successful? I used to be. I bowed my head, used to be. He rubbed his face. Financial problems, bad investments, I don't want to talk about it. I understand. I paused for a moment. I scribbled some fake notes. Then, I'm also investigating an old case, a local incident, a woman named Faye Lawson. She was convicted of theft 10 years ago. Did you know her? Marcus froze completely. His face went pale. His hands started trembling. Why are you asking this? I kept my expression neutral, a curious journalist, nothing more. Your name appears in the court records. You testified against her. That was a long time ago. 10 years, I said. He was released recently. Did you know that? His eyes widened. What? 3 months ago, early release for good behavior. I leaned forward. Did you hear from him? No, too quick, too defensive. No, why would I? I shrugged. I was just curious. I thought maybe he'd contact you to make peace. There's nothing to bury, Marcus said. He stood up. I want you to leave. Sure, I stood up casually. Thanks for your time. How did you find me? He asked. He was desperate now. He was scared. Who told you to come here? I smiled, Maya's smile. From public records, I'm a journalist. That's my job. I went outside. I left him trembling. Outside, I got into my car. I watched from the window. Marcus took his phone. He called someone. He paced the room, frantically. Probably Sienna, he was warning her. Fine, let them panic together. The package arrived at Martinez Designs on Tuesday, a plain brown envelope, no return address. Inside was a photo from 10 years ago, 4 people having a barbecue. Faye, Sienna, Marcus, Jake, their arms around each other, smiling, happy. On the back, it was written in handwriting. Do you remember when we were a family? F. Sienna's assistant brought the package to her office. This is for you. Sienna opened the envelope. She saw the photo. She dropped it as if it were burning. Mrs. Martinez. Get out, Sienna whispered. But, get out. The assistant fled. Sienna stared at the photo. Her hands were shaking. She couldn't breathe. A panic attack was coming on. She knew this feeling. The phone rang. It was Marcus. Did you find anything? He asked. He didn't say hello. A photo, she said. Her voice was trembling. Of all of us before that. Me too, said Marcus. And I had a visitor, a reporter. He asked about Faye. He asked if I had heard from her. Sienna's chest tightened. Marcus, what's going on? She's out there, he said. Faye's out there, and she knows the money, us, everything. No, Sienna was crying. No, she can't. We paid the price, we were sure. It didn't, Marcus shouted, because she's coming for us. Sienna looked at the photo again. Young Faye, innocent Faye, the girl she had betrayed. The girl she saw as her sister. What will we do? Sienna whispered. I don't know, said Marcus, but we need to talk to Jake right away. But there's something else I need to tell you, something I didn't expect. The 8th year in prison, Vera was in the infirmary again. She had pneumonia for the 2nd time. I sat by her bed. She looked small, fragile, nothing like the sharp woman I knew. There's something I haven't told you, she whispered. What? Richard, my business partner, he's here. I blinked. What? He was transferred here 3 months ago. He's in the men's block across the courtyard. I see him sometimes from behind the fence. My chest tightened. Does he know he's here? Vera gave a weak smile. He found out. He sent a message through another prisoner. He said he wants to talk. Will you talk to him? No, she coughed painfully. What would I say? I'm sorry I ruined your life. He ruined mine. Is he sorry? I asked. Vera's eyes darkened. He says he apologized. He says he was weak, that Tom manipulated him, but regret doesn't fix anything. It's just guilt wearing a mask. I thought of Marcus, Sienna, Jake. When I ruined them, would they have been sorry? Would it have mattered? Vera, I said carefully, when you took your revenge, when Richard lost everything, did it make you feel better? A long silence, then for about 5 minutes, then I just felt emptiness. But you said you'd do it again. I would, she said, because the alternative was worse, living with betrayal, letting them win, that would have killed me. She took my hand, a weak grip, but Claire, Faye, whatever. Name you go by now, listen, you still have time, you can stop this, you can walk away, you can build a new life, a real life, not one built on revenge. I pulled my hand away. They stole 10 years of my life. And you're about to steal another 10 years from yourself, Vera said. Chasing ghosts, destroying people, it changes you, permanently. My daughter was right, I became a monster just like them. I'm not you, I said. No, Vera agreed. You're worse because you still have a choice. I thought I didn't, but you're choosing this. I stood up. I have to go. Faye, her voice was urgent and desperate. You can still turn back before it's too late. I went outside. I didn't look back. This was our last real conversation. 3 weeks later, Vera died. I didn't cry at his funeral. I just stood there. I thought about his words. You're the one who chose this. Yes, that's how it was. Iron City Prison looked different from the outside. It was smaller, less intimidating, but when I parked, the smell hit me. Bleach, concrete, despair, 10 years of that smell. A man was waiting at the entrance. In his 30s, dark suit, a badge on his belt, Asian, sharp eyes. He resembled Marcus, same bone structure, same height. My stomach churned. Faye Lawson, he called out. I approached slowly. Every instinct told me to run, but I didn't. Who are you? I asked. He extended his hand. Detective David Chen, Marcus's older brother. I didn't shake his hand. I have nothing to say to anyone named Chen. I figured as much. He lowered his hand. But you need to listen to me because I'm not like my brother. You're his family, that's enough. I haven't spoken to Marcus in 15 years, David said. We couldn't agree on right and wrong. He chose the money, I chose the badge, we don't talk. I studied him. I looked for lies, for traps, but his eyes were steady. He was honest. Why am I here? I asked. Because your case never made sense to me, David said. I read the transcript, I watched the trial footage, something was off, so I investigated. It took 3 years, but I found things. Inconsistencies, deleted security camera footage, altered witness statements, bank records that didn't match. My heart started racing. What are you saying? Marcus lied, Sienna lied, Jake lied, and I can prove it. The world was spinning around me. Do you have proof? Not enough for a retrial, not yet, but enough to start asking questions. He pulled out a thick file. I know about Claire Ashford, Maya Rodriguez, the money you took from them. My blood ran cold. Are you arresting me? No, David said, because I know why you did it, and to be honest, I don't blame you. I looked at him. Then what do you want? Come inside, he said. There's someone you need to meet. The visitor's room smelled of instant coffee and fear. David led me to a table. A woman was sitting there. She was old, maybe 60, black, gray hair, tired eyes. Faye Lawson, this is Rita Williams, David said. Rita, my first cellmate before Vera. Rita, I sat down. What are you doing here? I got out, said Rita. 8 months ago. I've been clean ever since. I work in a restaurant. She pushed a manila envelope across the table. Vera asked me to give this to you, in case you came looking. My hands were shaking. When? The day before she died, said Rita. She knew she was going to die. She called me to her bedside. She gave me this. Faye will come when she needs it. Get this to her, she said. I opened the envelope. Inside were documents, photos, a USB drive, and a letter written in Vera's handwriting. David leaned forward. I saw the contents. Everything's there, the evidence of the conspiracy. Marcus and Sienna's plan, Jake's involvement, bank statements showing they shared the money. There's even a recording. A recording, I whispered. An audio recording. Vera somehow managed to record Jake years after your conviction. Jake was drunk. He was confessing to another inmate's visitor. Vera paid someone to record it. She was preparing your case, slowly, quietly, for 10 years. I couldn't breathe. Why? Rita spoke because she saw herself in you, someone betrayed, someone seeking revenge, but she also saw something she had lost, hope. She wanted to give you something she didn't have, a choice. I opened Vera's letter. Tears blurred my vision. Faye. If you're reading this, I'm gone. Good, I was tired anyway. I lied to you, not about everything, but about some things. I told you I didn't regret it. I said I'd do it all again. That was half true. The truth is, revenge destroyed me, not just my relationship with Sarah, me too, who I was, the woman who loved gardening, bad reality TV shows, and Sunday pancakes. That woman died when I chose revenge, and I miss her every damn day. I taught you how to destroy people because you wanted to learn, and because I was hurting, broken, and wanted someone to share my pain. But I also gave you this evidence. Legal, clean, a way to get justice without being a monster. You have a choice. I didn't. You can use this evidence. You can send them to prison. You can let the system deal with it. You can walk away clean. Or you can do what I did. You can complete your revenge. You can burn everything, yourself included. I can't tell you which one to choose, but I can tell you this. Sarah came to see me before she died. She forgave me, but she said she couldn't forget. She said she couldn't keep me in her life because I scared her. The woman I was scared her. You scare yourself too, don't you? I see it in your eyes. Faye is disappearing. Claire, Maya, whoever you are, she's cold, hard, empty. Is that who you want to be? There's a second envelope here, a letter I wrote to Sarah but never sent. I want you to give it to her. The address is there. Tell her I'm sorry, that I love her. Even if she can't forgive me, at least let her know. And Faye, make a better choice than I did. Ave. I couldn't stop crying. David and Rita sat silently. They waited. Finally, I lifted my head. What's on the USB? Everything, David said. Jake's confession, bank records, messages where Marcus and Sienna planned the conspiracy, the security camera footage we recovered, enough to reopen your case, to clear your name, to send them to prison. How long? I asked. What sentences? 5 to 10 years, each of them. Conspiracy, fraud, making false statements. 5 to 10 years, the sentence they gave me. Perfect symmetry. But was that what I wanted? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Maya, Claire, whatever your name is, a woman's voice. She was trembling, she was scared. I'm Emma Foster, Jake's wife. My chest tightened. Emma. I know who you are, she said. I know what Jake did. He told me everything, the conspiracy, the lies, Faye, Lawson, you. I couldn't speak. I called because he tried to kill himself, Emma said. Her voice was trembling. Last night with pills, I found him in the hospital. He's stable, but, she sobbed, he left a note. He confesses. He says he can't live with the guilt, that you're right to punish him. My hands were shaking. He. In life, Emma said, barely but ruined completely, and I just wanted you to know you won. Whatever you wanted, you got it. He's ruined. We're ruined. Our children. She couldn't finish. Emma. I don't forgive him, Emma said, for what he did to you, for lying to me, for putting our family in danger, but he's the father of my children, and they need him. Please, please, whatever you're planning, stop, stop. She hung up the phone. I sat there, numb. Jake had tried to kill himself. I wanted them to suffer, I wanted them to feel what I felt, but this was too much. Or was it? I called Margaret. What happened to Marcus and Sienna? They filed for bankruptcy yesterday, Margaret said. Both of them, the gallery closed, the company was liquidated, they're moving out of the penthouse, into separate apartments. The divorce papers were filed this morning. They were already ruined, without me having to do anything else. The revenge I had planned, they did it to themselves. Guilt, fear, collapse. I barely touched them. And they were shattered. Still, I went to the penthouse, one last time. The doorman recognized Maya. He let me up. I knocked on the door. Sienna opened it. She looked like a ghost, weak, her eyes sunken, her hair unwashed. She looked at me, surprised, then her eyes widened. Faye. My heart started racing. She recognized me, finally. Hello, Sienna. She stumbled backward. No, you. In prison, I walked in. I was for 10 years because of you. Marcus appeared. He saw me. He froze. Faye, his voice cracked. I looked at him, this man I loved, this man who ruined me. He was so different from how I remembered him, broken, defeated, aged. You were Claire, he whispered. You were Claire, Maya, all of them's you. Yes, I said. Sienna collapsed into a chair. She was crying. I'm sorry, God, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean it. Didn't you want to put me away for 10 years? My voice was ice cold. Didn't you want to steal my life, marry my boyfriend, profit from my pain?" "It was Marcus' idea," Sienna sobbed. "He said it was a perfect plan. He said he'd take the fall and get no more than 5 years. We didn't think." "Didn't you think I'd resist?" I said, "that I'd refuse to lie?" Marcus sat down, he buried his head in his hands. "We were stupid, we were greedy, we were young, we thought that." He lifted his head, his eyes were red. "I loved you, Faye, I really did, but I loved the money more, and I hated myself for it every day." "Fine," I said. "We lost everything," Sienna whispered. "Our jobs, our home, each other. We've already paid the price. Isn't that enough?" I looked at them, at these people who had ruined me, the people I had hated for 10 years, the people I had planned to destroy. And I felt nothing. No sense of satisfaction, no joy, no anger. Just emptiness. "You ruined yourselves," I said. "I didn't do anything. The guilt did it for me." Marcus lifted his head. "Are you going to the police? We know you have evidence. That detective, David, my brother, he came here, he asked questions." "I don't know," I said honestly. "I'm not sure what I'll do." "Please," Sienna begged. "We're sorry, we'll do whatever you want, please." I turned to leave, I stopped. "Did you ever think about me for 10 years? Did you ever wonder if I was okay?" Silence. "Then Sienna, every day, I thought about you every day. I tried to visit once. The 3rd year, they said you weren't accepting visitors. I was relieved because I didn't know what to say." "You could have told the truth," I said. "Break your promise, set me free." "We were afraid," said Marcus. "We would have gone to prison, we would have lost everything. Instead, you left me to rot." "Yes," he said, simple, honest, broken. "We did, and whatever you do to us, we deserve it. I'm serious. Report us, destroy us, kill us, I don't care anymore. My heart is already dead." I looked at them, I really looked at them, and I noticed something. Vera was right, revenge hadn't filled the void, it had only made it bigger. The next day I met David at a cafe in the city center, a neutral place. "So," he asked, "what's your decision?" I pushed the USB drive across the table toward him. "Use it." He raised his eyebrows. "Are you planning to file a lawsuit?" "No," I said. "I want you to write a report, an official report, document the evidence, enter it into the system, but I won't file a lawsuit, I won't testify, it's over for me." "Faye." "They're already ruined," I said. "Jake's in a psychiatric ward, Marcus and Sienna went bankrupt, they divorced, they're shattered, sending them to prison won't fix what they did, it won't give me back those 10 years. "So you're letting them go?" "I'm letting them live," I said. "With what they've done, that's punishment enough." David was silent. "Then what about you, fraud money?" "I'll pay it back," I said, "anonymously to Jake's children, to Emma, they didn't do anything wrong, they shouldn't suffer." "That's a lot of money to give up." "That money was never mine," I said. "It was revenge, and the price of revenge has already been heavy enough." David shook his head slowly. "All right, I'll write the report, I'll close the investigation, but Faye, you need to disappear, this time for real, legal identity, a clean slate, I can help you with that." "Thank you," I said. "One more thing," he pulled out a card. "Sarah Carter, Vera's daughter, I found her, she lives up north, she runs a bakery." I took the card. "How did you find?" "I'm a detective," he said, he smiled. "It's my job, and Faye, Vera would be proud of you. You chose mercy over revenge, that takes more strength." I wasn't sure, but I nodded anyway. 6 months later. The bookstore was small, cozy, hardwood floors, large windows. The shelves were filled with used books. I had named it Second Chapters. Maybe it was ironic, but it was a fitting name. This time my new identity was legal. Faye Morrison, close enough to Faye Lawson to feel real, different enough to feel safe. I lived upstairs, a simple apartment, no ghosts, no revenge, no looking back. Well, mostly. I found Sarah 3 months ago. I went to the northern state. The bakery smelled of cinnamon and vanilla. It was beautiful. She had Vera's eyes, Vera's smile. I handed her the letter. "Your mother asked me to give this to you." Sarah looked at the envelope. "When?" "Before she died, she wanted you to know she was sorry, that she loved you." Sarah took the letter, tears were streaming down her face. "Thank you." We talked for hours about Vera, about forgiveness, about moving on with life. Sarah said, I forgave her, I truly forgave her, but I couldn't forget. I couldn't trust her again. Does that make me a bad person? No, I said, it makes you human. We still talked sometimes. Emails, occasional phone calls, we never got close, but it was something. Marcus and Sienna divorced. Sienna moved to the other side of the country, a fresh start, a waitressing job, a small apartment, therapy. Once she sent me a letter, she was apologizing. I didn't reply, but I didn't throw the letter away either. Marcus stayed in town. He found a job at a real estate sales company, hourly wage. He rented a room. Every time I happened to see him, he looked older. I never approached him, but it was a small town. Jake was still in therapy. Emma took him back, conditionally. He wasn't working yet, but he was trying. The kids were fine. I set up a trust fund for them, anonymously, for college. Emma would never know it came from me. I was standing in my bookstore. The evening light was streaming through the windows. A customer was browsing the shelves. The bell above the door rang. Someone came in. I looked up and froze. A woman, my age, brown hair, a familiar face. She looked around. She surveyed the place appreciatively. Then her eyes met mine. She bowed her head. She looked at me with narrowed eyes. Your face looks familiar. Have we met? I recognized her. She was from the neighborhood 10 years ago. We weren't close, but she was there in the background. If she looked closer, if she really tried, she might remember Faye Lawson. I smiled. I hear that a lot. He shrugged, smiled. Cute shop. I just moved to this city. I'm always looking for good bookstores. Welcome, I said. Let me know if you need anything. She walked away. She was browsing the books. I exhaled. The past was always there. It hung in the air. It waited. I could never fully escape it. But I wasn't running anymore. I had made my choices. I carried my scars, and somehow, impossibly, I was still standing. Vera had asked if revenge was worth it. The answer was no, but staying alive was worth it, and mercy, and second chances. I had lost a decade. I couldn't get them back, but I had the rest of my life. And this time I would spend it living, not hating. Without destroying. Just exist. Outside, the sun was setting over the city, golden light, warm. I walked to the window. I looked outside. Somewhere out there, Marcus was heading to his small apartment. Sienna was serving tables. Jake was trying to be a better father. And what about me? I was here in my bookstore, selling stories, offering people escape routes. If I could give you one last thought, I would say this. Just because life isn't fair to you doesn't mean you have to be unfair, but if the world doesn't give you justice, sometimes you have to give it to yourself. Remember, every choice changes you. Make sure you can live with who you become. Or as the poet once wrote, still every person kills what they love. Let everyone hear this, some with a bitter glance, some with words of praise. A cowardly kiss, a brave man with a sword. I chose mercy, not because they deserved it, because I deserved it. Because revenge may settle scores, but it never heals wounds. And I'm tired of bleeding.